Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hi, Rap. Hi, Aki. Hello, hello. Hello, Snapchat12. I know you're looking. New song in the rotation? Yeah. I got a Christmas playlist. Since it's going to be Christmas soon, I was like, okay, I should be festive. I don't know how Christmassy it is, though. But yeah. Oh my gosh, horror time. Oh no. Why did I do this to myself? I don't know. Oh no. You love horror games? Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. My favorite. My favorite. I love horror games. This music is nice though. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. It doesn't feel very Christmassy, but I like it. Um I'm going to pause the music. And we're gonna Christmas music into Ringo screaming. Stop! Stop! Uh, what is this? I guess I'll leave it. It's the default for a reason. Uh, there's no settings. Okay, I guess I just gotta play. Ah, last one for this year. Okay, the alarm is ringing. Oh, I'm blocking it, but uh, 7 7:30 stream. Oh wait, that's pretty. That time is pretty pretty close to what time I'm streaming at. Okay. Is the audio okay? You have a new message. Okay. Let's read this. I gained more than 5,000 subscribers. I wish. I wish. Grow up, find a real job, and get paid. Oh. Oops. Well, that's not very nice. New menu. Blocked. Oh, that's their ex. Okay. The nikujaga I made is in the fridge, so heat it up and eat it. Okay. Subscribers raking in the big bucks. I know, right? Wait. Okay, interact is click. Okay. Okay, okay. Um graphics quality very low. It's already on very low. I think it's lagging on stream, but okay. Can I turn on the light? Do our lights not work or something? Hello? Oh my gosh, it's really loud. Gosh. Okay, I guess we're eating it. Dinner time. The lights are on? Why is it so dark? Need some better lights. Is this where I'm supposed to hide? Okay. VTuber. Wow. Sanda Nina. Wait, the setup is so cute, but we can't afford like we can't afford we can't afford lights? How do you wait, huh? Oh. Make sure before stream, have game ready. Okay. Transform. No matter how many times I look at it, my avatar is too cute. It was worth the money. Sandra Nina is a great name too. Let's enjoy streaming today. Aim for 10,000 subscribers. Wow. Okay, let's play a game. If I remember correctly, this game has no saves. This sucks. Okay. Stream. Alright, I'll do my best today. All I need to do is deliver these 2 pieces of paper. I hope I can clear this today. This sounds like me! Watch me fail the game inside the game. E. What's with the danger sign? Is it? Oh wow, look at that. Just 2 more. Oh my gosh. Wow. Does this girl not talk to her chat? She's just playing in silence. Well, I'm playing for her, but like... Oh. I don't know where I'm supposed to... I got 2 more pieces of paper. Let me in! It's locked. Going out with friends, leaving my laptop on Ringo. And oh wow, look at that. Maybe we're not gonna go that way. And seeing where this takes me. Have fun, Ajax! Thank you for visiting. Oh, I can run in this game! Oh my gosh. I was just walking around the entire time, bro. Can I go in here? Is that room? Watch me get caught. Nah, surely this is part of the plot, right? Okay. I don't know where I'm supposed to... Oh, here? Is it this? No. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ah. I died. We have to start from the beginning again. No saves is too cruel. This game is not suited for me. Do you have any other recommendations? Dude, she's literally just me. She's just me. I guess we're clicking the links. Thank you for the link. Let's take a look. Ah. New game site. It's a site that I always use. Let's try this game. 800 viewers but 2 chatters is crazy work. This is just Ringo stream and the Ringo stream. Yeah, this is literally just me. The plan is to update the game for every stream. Am I trusting this? I guess we are. A new game has been installed. Okay. Oh my gosh. This looks like a Chilla's art game. Oh my gosh. What is that? 4. E. Oh, I have to find them all, bruh. Okay. Oops. I keep trying to move my mouse to move the camera in this game, in the game inside the game. Okay, okay, green is 4. Oh my gosh. I can't go in there, but red is 5. Oh, blue is 7. Okay. Oh my gosh. What's the other one? Can't just guess. Wait, what did I say? Oh my gosh. 4, right? 4, how do I... Okay, 4, 7... let's guess 3. Wait, did I mix it up? Wait, was green 4? Wait, oh my gosh. My memory is terrible. Oh my gosh. On top of the chair? I did, bruh. Okay, 4. Was the red one 5? Okay, 5, 7, 4. 5, 7, something 4. My in-game chat is backseating me. Okay, 5. 5. 7. The garbage bag. Oh my gosh. The wall next to the desk. This one? This game is creepy. I don't like. What garbage bag? There's like a gazillion of them. Y'all gotta be more specific. These ones? The controls? Or this is kind of difficult. Oh my gosh. Bruh. Bruh. Which garbage bags? Even we are backseating. No, you guys are helping me because I have bad memory. I can't find it. I'm just gonna guess. Okay. Let's see. It was 5, 7. Let's do 2. Okay. 5, 7, 1, 4. Okay. 5. We're just gonna try them all. Hold on. 5, 7, 3, 4. Aha! Yay! Oh. I cleared it. It was somewhat scary. What is the... Uh-oh. There's a continuation, right? Girl is not reading her chat when it's exploding like that. What? What do you mean face? Oh. Kinda loud. What the heck? Well, that's not good. Let's hope that doesn't happen. No thanks. No thanks. Okay. Keep streaming the games I sent, otherwise bad things happen. Block. Oh. This is bad, my face got exposed during the stream. I also got a strange message from someone. What should I do? I'm scared. Well... That's not good, I'm sorry. But I'm at work and can't talk right now. Can we meet tomorrow? I'll hear you out in person tomorrow. Don't overthink it. Okay, well, someone's at the door. Did y'all hear that? Surely it's nothing bad, right? Surely it's just... Maybe the mailman is delivering my merch. I hope this isn't a jump scare. It's gotta be my merch, right? Oh, what's that? There's definitely a guy right there. He's not hiding very well. Nope. I don't see my package, so, we're gonna go back and play games. No? Fine. Fine, I'll open the door, jeez. We'll pretend I didn't see him, I guess. Oh, there's actually something there. I'm always watching over you. That's not creepy at all, thanks. Why is her bedroom, like, right beside the freaking... Oh, I did not want to do that, but... Oh, okay. Good morning. I didn't sleep here, but... Trash pickup day. New message. Oh, bro, can you grab the trash for me, please? There's no use blocking me, just listen to what I say. Okay. Well, then can you grab my trash? Tab inventory. Okay. Hmm. Oh. Ringo merch when? I don't know yet. How come it looks brighter with the lights off? I think 'cause it's not nighttime anymore. Can I put on my shoes, please? Okay. We're going out without shoes. Okay, sick. Oh, my shoes teleported on. How convenient. I don't know which way I'm supposed to go. Teleporting shoes, yeah. I want some. The heck? Oh. Oh. Hello. Um. Where am I going? Okay. Um. Oh. 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 Where is it? Okay. Yeah, I want some teleporting shoes. That'd be so nice and convenient. Hello, good morning. Okay, now we can go back. Let's go to the konbini and get some snacks. What about this? No? Okay. You have a new message, okay. I'm almost there. I'll go to your entrance to wait in the house. Okay. Okay, bestie. Surely I can trust her, right? I think I want to live closer to the elevator. Thanks. Wow! Crazy. Oh, it's so dark again. Interesting. Wait for Asuka to arrive. I'm here. Okay. Girl, you don't have to ring twice. Huh? Oh. She's kind of creepy. Are you okay? You look a little tired. Hello? I'm here. You okay? No? Did you sleep at all? Yeah? You don't look too good. We'll talk later. It's probably better for us to see the sun right now. Yeah, let's go to the konbini. We'll go to the konbini. This is not a konbini. Coffee shop. Okay, that works too. Where is she? Oh, she's already inside. Girl, didn't wait for me. How rude. Oh my gosh. I walk so funny. Any screams yet? No. Soon, hopefully. What do you mean, hopefully? Hello? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I know they put references, but like, this is crazy. There's so many. Yo, I recognize some of these. How crazy. Oh my gosh. Ooh. I'll get a matcha cake and this waffle and this strawberry cake and this croissant and whatever this is and this one and one of each sandwich, please. Solen, yeah. I would. It's so funny. It's just her standing PNG. Also, hello. Oh my gosh, hello, Madu and Alan. Hello. I hope you guys are doing well today. I'll be happy to take your order. I just placed it. Iced coffee. I don't like coffee though. Would that be all? No. Food menu. Matcha cake. That's it? But I want more. I'm still debating what to order. Get one of each type of sandwich and we'll split it. Could you hang around a bit until I decide? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I do that anyways. But hurry up, girl. I guess I'll wait for her to finish mine. How bad is the lag? I feel like I'm looking over and it looks kind of bad. I'm already on low graphics though. What is this? Okay. Are you done? Have you ordered yet? Girl, stop scrolling on your phone and just decide what to order. Stop what girl staring at the menu. She's thinking really, really hard. A bit of frame drop here and there. Oh my gosh, is that an emote of honey? I love her model. It's so cute. Honey Pum. Her model is so super cute. I love it. This girl moves so slow. What's she doing? Can you? I'm waiting. Poor girl looks really tired. She looks really tired. It's okay, girl. Take your time. Take all the time you need. You, on the other hand, need to hurry up and decide. Sorry about her. Oh. Am I just gonna talk to... I'm supposed to talk to these people? Oh, okay. I was like actually reading. The heck? It's been a while. How have you been? It's been since high school graduation, right? How are things going? It's been a long time. Too bad we couldn't go to the same college. We were always together in our high school days. Time really flies. Lately, I've been trying my best to learn from my seniors at work. How about you, Mayumi? Yeah, work's been fine for me as well. Actually, I've been eyeing someone. He's my colleague. He's both handsome and hardworking. Wow! Sounds like... He said he liked skinny girls. Oh. Hmm? But you're eating all of that? Who cares what they think? Eat if you want to eat, girl. Yep, I'm in the mood for sweets. That's so real. Um... So I'm seeing that you're trying to convince the guy to like the real you? What's this girl's problem? Not really. I do want to be his ideal woman. Then you should stop. But that's different from this. It's not different. You're gonna gain weight. Girl, just let her eat. Oh my gosh. Hello? What's your problem? It'll be fine. A bite or two won't make me fat. Hey! You're already fat. Whoa! Whoa. Okay, girl. I don't think you can say that. Girl is so mean. I can't stand you gaining even more. Oh, this poor girl. No, eat your sweets. Don't listen to her. She's just being a hater. She's just being a hater. Don't listen to her. Hello. Hasaku-san. Where have you gone? You haven't finished teaching me yet. I can't go on without you, Hasaku-san. There's still so much to learn. Why? Oh, I'm so sorry. Poor girl. She's not even fat. You're such a hater. Poor Mayumi needs a better friend. That's what I'm saying. Hello. Excuse me, young lady. Good evening. I would like to ask you a quick question. Is that person over there your friend? Yeah, don't touch her. That's good to hear. I happen to be quite a fan of the coffee they serve here, but the taste tends to change before something is about to happen. It began to taste off again. I can't help but find him suspicious, no matter how safe Japan may be. Not everyone is in the right mind, so we must not let our guard down. I have a feeling we will meet again. Until then, take care. I can't tell if he's like messing with me or if he's like actually a nice person. Wow, that took a while. Thank you. Did she decide? Finally. Girl. You said your face got exposed during a stream. What happened? My avatar was removed before I knew it. How's it even possible? Have you checked for viruses? I did and found nothing. Is that so? Is it possible that your PC got hacked? Do you remember what you did during your stream? She clicked a sussy link. I played a game a viewer sent to me. That has to be it. They may be your fans, but you don't know who they are at the end of the day. You can't open random files like that. Don't play that game anymore, yeah? Yeah, about that. It's not that simple, is it? What happened? I received a threat message after ending the stream. He told me to keep streaming the game. Oh. Hello. So that's what you meant by a strange message. That's terrifying. Ignoring it might make things worse. Went from 6 FPS to 1 frame per sometimes. Really? Hmm. Uh... Uh-oh. Hmm. Um... Let's see. Let's see what I can do. Hmm. Oh, I don't know if I can do anything to fix it right now. Hopefully, it locks in and stops lagging. Ignoring it might make things worse. If the game itself seems okay, it may be better to continue streaming it. Who would do such a thing? My tea got so cold. Hmm. One thing I can say is, viewers are all people you never met. So there's no way of knowing what they're thinking. That's true. Either way, you won't be in that much trouble just because some fans saw your face, right? I hope she took down that VOD. What's the worst that could happen? People dox you? Your house has auto-lock doors too, so security seems great. Now girl, move places immediately. Don't think too much about it. Girl does not care about my safety at all. I guess so. There's no use overthinking what's already happened, right? Oh, by the way, didn't you say you broke up with your boyfriend? Why did you? Sorry if I'm being insensitive. We just weren't a good match. I see. Stuff happens, right? Well, if there's ever anything else, you can let me know. Well then, shall we get going? Are you okay, mister? Huh? What's wrong? Behind you. Behind? She turns her head. She looks behind her like that? How can you even see anything if you're looking like that? What happened? Don't scare me like that. I'm getting the creeps. Let's go home. I think this is a good place to stop. It was great talking to you. Call me again anytime, okay? See you later then. Okay. Bye. Huh? Oh! Uh, hello? Uh, is this your floor? I think I live the next floor. Um, um, oh. Okay. You didn't eat your pastry. It's so sad. This is not my floor. There's supposed to be a blue thing. This is not... Okay. If you say so. No, lock the door immediately. Thank you. Okay. What's that? Stream. Okay. Guess we're still streaming. Even after what happened. Okay. Game. That looks... Okay, well... I'm going to continue yesterday's game today. Was yesterday's face reveal okay? The police are the enemy? I'm supposed to help a lady not get caught by the police. Well... That looks like the police. Oh my gosh. The controls. Oh, look at that. Hello. Am I not avoiding them? Or... Bro just walked past me. Oh! Oh, she's following me. Oh, Kate. She's a little bit creepy. Kate, girl, can you not walk like that? You're giving me the creeps. So realistic, I know. The graphics in this game are insane. I don't even... Oh, she's kinda slow. So, Oh, this is where I started, bruh. That means I have to look at her again. She's so creepy! Girl, please. I don't... This is where the lever was, but then I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I had to wait for her. Oh. What's the point of the police guy? Okay. Yay, we cleared it. It seems like this is the end of this stage. I enjoyed the depth of the game systems compared to the last one. Sure. Well then, we've cleared the mission, so we will end the stream for today. That's it? Girl doesn't talk to her chat at all. She just plays the game in silence and then she's like, okay, we cleared it, bye. The heck? I'm exhausted. I should take a bath. Girl didn't take a bath yesterday. Ew. How do you... How does one use this? Am I doing it wrong? Am I supposed to do something first? Oh my gosh, jump scare. Holy moly. Oh, this? Huh? Girl, I thought you wanted to take a bath. Make up your mind. Where does she keep her clothes? She just wears the same thing every day? This isn't even the bathroom. This is just the toilet. What is short stream? I know. What the heck? Streams for like 5 minutes and never reads chat. Could never be me. Huh? Uh-oh. Is the key broken? I think I had a screwdriver somewhere. Girl, this isn't even the... You take a bath in here. What's in there? Gosh. Oh my gosh. Screwdriver. Why does she have nothing in her fridge? Oh, that's the bath. Oh, okay. Sick. Okay. And where's the screwdriver? Oh, it's the only thing in her closet. Okay. Girl has nothing in her house except for her... Huh? What's the point of... What's the point of the screwdriver? Okay, well, we'll take a bath first, I guess. I think I'm doing things out of order because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. She's just sitting here in silence. No music, no... Yeah, bro, if you could wait just a second. I'm kind of taking a bath right now. Sorry. My bad. What is that noise? Can you stop? Oh, no, girl, close the door. Why can't I open the door from here? Oh my gosh. How does one get out? Okay. Yeah, bruh. Oh! How nice. Bro, you couldn't at least... Bro couldn't have waited until I got dressed. Oh. Oh, okay. I was so scared I couldn't sleep well. That was a psychic phenomenon yesterday, right? I didn't open the other door. I don't think I have spiritual senses. Should I ask someone? Yeah. Sure, I guess. Whatever makes you feel better, girl. Oh, look, it's open. Chilla's residence. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. No music in shower bath is insane. Yeah, what the heck? I don't listen to music when I'm showering, but if I take a bath, I need music. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm Miyamoto, the manager of the condominium. Please get in touch with me anytime if there are any problems. I'm worried about yesterday. Should I call a manager? Yeah. Girl, why would you not? Yeah, there was a guy that was in my apartment. I'm Miyamoto, the building manager of Chilla's residence. I have a question. Excuse me, but do you happen to reside in Chilla's residence? Yes, girl. Could you please tell me your room number? 705. Room 705. You must be Miss Nina. What can I do for you today? I would like to know the history of this room. Are you asking if your room is a stigmatized property? Or something like that? No, nothing of that sort has happened before. If there was, we are obligated to notify you before you move in. So there's no need to worry. But if something unusual happens, it could just be your imagination. She's calling me crazy. Either way, it probably has nothing to do with the apartment itself. Yeah. I think it's an actual guy that's sneaking into my freaking apartment building. But if something does happen, let's say, for example, you get into a stalker incident. Girl, that's literally what's happening right now. I need help. We can provide a consultation. A what? Can't you just do something about the stalker? On such matters. So if anything else comes up again, please feel free to contact us. Now if you'll excuse me. What is with this girl's sleep schedule? She literally sleeps for like basically 24 hours. What do you mean I have to stream again? I just woke up. What is with her? What? Okay, well. Playing this. I'm going to continue yesterday's game today. It seems similar to yesterday. Oh my gosh, Apple. Is this a... Oh my gosh. This is not what I meant when I said I want to go to a konbini. Okay, let's see. I guess we're doing the same thing. We'll get this first. And then I'm assuming it's either here or... Let's find the door first before we grab this creepy lady that keeps staring over the shelves at me. Oh. Oh, I just can't touch the guy. Okay, that's fine then. Do I have to get the... Girl does not read her chat. So there's literally a person in here that's like, did you enjoy your bath? Yeah, I did until you came along, bruh. Lower the lever. Yeah, what else am I supposed to do with the lever? Stop. My goodness. Okay, no, girl, wait for me. Just wait there. Just wait. I'll get... Let me go find the door. I see it, but I need to figure out how to get there first. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I want to be able to walk like that. Oh, he's following me. That's crazy. That's me, Apple, yeah. Two apples. Okay, did you lower the lever already? Yeah, I did, bro. Pay attention. Oh, hi, 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 hi. Hi. Oops. If it's the same as yesterday, yeah. I got it. I got it. Chill. Chill, fake chat. Chill. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. These guys are chronic backseaters. Oh, I found Eiko. That's her name? Ah, that scared me. Oh my gosh.
僕はただ伝えたいだけなのに。
Oh gosh, the TV turned on its own. Is it broken? Maybe my room is cursed. As if. That scared me, bruh. Don't do that. My gosh. Okay, girl. Ringo's being backseated by the in-game chat. I know. What the heck? Who's hungry? It's perfect timing, so let's finish for today. Yeah, girl doesn't eat anything. I'll be back tomorrow, so please come check it out. 1.7k viewers is crazy. She's just playing the game for 5 minutes. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna die. Was there something in the fridge? No. I already checked, girl. Don't worry. We're just gonna ignore that? Okay, sure. I guess. Of course. What should I do? Uher eats nearby konbini. They're both bad options. They're both bad options, but let's go konbini. Cause oh my god. Oh, thank you. If you could continue being nice, that'd be amazing. Thanks. If you could continue, not, and like just, hello. You're Miss Nina, is that correct? Who? It's Miyamoto, your building manager. Excuse me, but do you live alone? Ah, not this question. It's dangerous for a girl to live alone. What about a boyfriend? Don't have one. At the moment, huh? Somehow I get the feeling you were with someone until recently. Girl, can you leave me alone? I'm trying to eat. What a waste. Why did you break up? I have no obligation to tell you. Was he a bad person? Was there that bad of a reason? Girl, you're just my building manager. Leave me alone. Oh, pardon me. I'm being too nosy, aren't I? Yeah. Well then, I'm the manager here. If anything happens in this building, you know who to call. Yeah. Well, she doesn't really do anything. You're not very helpful, you know. I swear some guy walks in. Can I just... Okay. Konbini, konbini, konbini. Going to the konbini. And... convenience stores in Canada are so expensive. There's like, they're not even convenient. Tomare. Okay, we'll follow the... Oh, it doesn't even let me go. Okay. I have to follow the... Okay, bro. I have to follow the law. I can't... I couldn't even jaywalk if I wanted to. How expensive is expensive? Um, like, if you go get a bag of Sour Patch Kids, it's like $5. By the dollar store, it's like half that price. I only came to buy dinner. Only dinner. I'm starving today, so one is probably not enough. Yeah, girl, stock up because you have nothing in your fridge. On days like this, I had to buy alcohol and drinks. Oh, excuse you. Hello. Okay. Chicken rice, メンチカツ、じゃじゃんパラヤ。Okay. Oh. Oh, I'm buying alcohol first. Okay. What shall I get? Sure, we'll pick up this. And we'll get water. We'll get water. Um. Oh my gosh, bento. Oh, I thought you said one's not enough. One of everything, I guess. Curry flavor. Yummy. I love how she's like, we're only getting dinner. Sorry. I'll get out of your way. Oh my gosh, there's characters on them. Ice cream. I want some. Okay. Guess we're getting ice cream because girl wants her ice cream so bad. Let's see. The green one has to be matcha, right? Girl, I thought you said only dinner. After eating ice cream, I'm going to want something salty. Okay. We'll get the one with cute characters on it. Examine a supporter item. Oh. I want to buy that one though. Okay, this one. Just one last thing. It looks good. I can pick anything. Cookies. I like these. Bro is so obvious about it. Hello. Thank you. ありがとうございます. Oh. Been a while. Ikia. Please don't run. I have something important to tell you. Stop. You're blocking me, aren't you? That's why I came to talk to you directly. Your friend is acting suspiciously. No, I don't want to hear it. Come on, don't say that. Hear me out. Hey, you there, what are you doing? I have evidence. Send me a message. And oh. What a nice convenient employee. What? Where's my dinner? If I take too long, can I get hit by a bus? Okay. Ringo trying to get hit by a bus? I just want to see what I want. I'm just curious what's gonna happen. Yeah, girl, go straight back to your apartment. Yeah, let's go for a walk. Can I go this way? Okay, never mind. Oh. Um, okay. Bit aggressive, don't you think? Sorry, excuse me. Okay. You can leave now. You don't have to... You don't have to watch me, you know? Okay, well... I'm being followed. I'm really creeped out. I'm scared. He found my home. What should I do? Girl! That's because you... Girl went straight home. He found your home because you led him there. This girl has no common sense. Oh my gosh. Wait, oh my gosh. Stop, stop texting. I didn't read it. Stop. They type so fast. I wish I could come over right now, but I'm away for work tomorrow as well, so I can't go with you tomorrow. Will you be okay? Okay. They're so fast. Okay. Back. Okay. Now I can back read. Are you home now? Did you lock the doors? Yeah, it's an auto lock, so it's locked. Should I call the police? It may be better to refrain from them for now. Without much evidence, I doubt the police would do anything. Even if they come, you might provoke the guy, so it's dangerous. But it might be better to at least consult with the police. It's dangerous to go out tonight. I think it's better to go to the police box directly tomorrow while it's still bright out. They should take you more seriously than over the phone. Alright. So, what do you mean he found your home? Who's he? The... The stalker, obviously, girl. What? Some guy followed me and he saw me entering my room. That's scary. I wish I could come over right now, but I'm away for work. Tomorrow as well. So I can't go with you tomorrow. Will you be okay? Yeah, I'll manage somehow. I'm worried. It's probably the same guy that sent the weird message. Make sure you go to the police box tomorrow morning. Don't stress too much. Be careful. Message me again. Okay, I understand. Thanks. Bye. Did bro just stop in the elevator with a bare hand? Apparently. Oh, a new one? Another one? Bruh. Can you leave me alone? Are you sure you can trust everything your friend says? What about what your ex said? Is it okay to ignore him? Are there others you can trust? Is it okay to rely on just one person? If it were me, I'd get more allies. Well, you're fine on your own. Because no matter what you do, you're all mine. Okay, bro. Should I unblock Rikia? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Isn't aren't Chilla's art games usually all scripted anyways? I'm curious what'll happen though. I feel like if I unblock him, the best friend will get mad at me. I think we gotta choose one or the other. I don't know. I've never seen anything on this game, so we'll unblock him. Why not? This is really okay. Yeah, girl, do it. Whatever. What do you mean my friend is suspicious? Are you talking about Asuka? You unblocked me. Thank you. Can you answer the question? This involves your friend Asuka-san as well, but recently your face got exposed during a stream, right? How did you know? It's probably all over the internet. Sorry, I was watching Sandra Nina's stream. Well, even if I didn't watch the stream, the story was spreading everywhere, so I probably would have found out. Were you hacked? I'm not sure, but I ran an antivirus scan and it was fine. Never mind that. What does this have to do with Asuka? I think Asuka-san has something to do with this whole thing. Take a look at this. What is that? Plot twist, they're both in on it. I just happened to see her talking to a suspicious guy today. I also don't want to believe it. No way your best friend is. But if I see something like this... Besides, Asuka-san is the only one that can enter your house freely, right? I can't help but find her suspicious. I know it's tough for you, but think about it. He has a point. Asuka. That's impossible. But that photo... I have no choice. I have to block her. Girl, don't block her. See what she's talking about. Why would you block her? Now she's gonna be out for you. Bruh. So am I eating or what's happening? Are we streaming? What am I doing tonight? Am I just going to bed? Or... Oh! That's not creepy at all. Yeah. Yeah. So pitiful. Abandoned by your best friend. Forever alone. Just like me. I'm here alone, living in darkness. You see? We're the same. No one will come and save you. We're not allowed to. Be with another human being. Aww. That's kinda sad. So... So... She got abandoned by her character? Is that what they're trying to say here? Well, how unfortunate is that? I can hear someone. No thanks. Stop! Can you, like, stop? Oh, what's this? Posta. Wow, she has a lot of boxes of those. Key holder. Oh, this is her merch. I see. What's in here? Hiding spot. Sick. Yo, can you keep it down, bro? I'm trying to sleep, bro. Maybe I have to get a bath again. I don't know what I'm trying to. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Uh. Uh. Can you keep it down? What is going on, bro? What am I supposed to do? Wait, guys, what am I supposed to do right now? I can't really do anything. Why is it so dark in here? I hear things. Okay, I'll be right back. The window? Oh. Okay, well, I'm gonna get some water, so I'll be right back. I need hydrate. Oh my gosh, my mic was freaking okay. No, I'm just getting my water. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. Hi, Jet. Hello. We're playing horror games today. The window? Which window? The big window? Okay, maybe not that one. My window? My friend gave me Minecraft on PC for Secret Santa. Really? That's so sick. My gosh. Now I need to get it so we can play. This window? Oh, hi. Bro was not slick. Bro was making so much noise. My gosh. And then he looks at me like, oh my gosh, can't believe I got caught. Bro, can you not? Oh. No thank you. Oh, I'm supposed to not get caught? Okay. That's crazy. He can just phase through the window? That's crazy. Why can't I do that? Where's it pulling me back in from? Is this the right spot? Or do I have to go check the... Where am I supposed to... I don't know what part they reloaded me into, so... Is it... Oh. No, thank you. Bye. Maybe I should close the door, but... You revived. Are you dead? Oh. Kill them. What are they talking about? Wasn't there a screwdriver somewhere? You're supposed to stab him with this. What? Nah, bro. I don't have to. I don't want to go back and go get the screwdriver. Good luck. Oh, this is so cooked. I'm gonna get caught. It's not even scary. I just don't want to. Die. Scary. Yeah, scary for real. I gotta go lurk when making gingerbread houses. Have fun. Have fun. Do I actually have to stab him with a screwdriver? I kind of don't want to go out. Because I think he's gonna catch me as soon as I leave. Okay, well. GG's. Oh my gosh. He's right there. What am I supposed to do? The flip am I supposed to do when he's right there? Bruh. He's literally standing right, he's camping right in front of... How am I supposed to get out? Where's the... Am I supposed to hide somewhere else? I don't know, this is kind of the only place I can hide before he catches me. Ah. Wasn't there a screwdriver somewhere? Yeah, I don't know where it is. I was not in the same spot because I'm cooked. I can't get all the way over there. I want to meet you. I don't. Just have like a meet and greet. Like meet each other the normal way. Oh my gosh. Bro, why is no one in our... Why is everyone in our chat crazy? They're all psychos. What the heck? So yeah, I think it's cooked. I don't think I can, Oh, okay, not that. Does he go in this room? I don't like the music. Okay, what am I supposed to do? I can't find that darn... Okay, well, I mean, it's not really that scary, so... Bro! Where am I supposed to go? He just camps me. He's just camping. How am I supposed to... What the heck? Uh... Let's see. Um... Let's see. I'm on the wiki. Uh... Let's see. Oh, I do have to find it. Heck. How? How? I'm just gonna get caught right away. How am I supposed to... What the heck? $2 if I'm lucky. Ah. Da, 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 da. He only goes through the hallway. But none of the rooms really connect. So I just have to... Okay, maybe then... Oh. So I just have bad timing every time. Bruh. Bruh. Every time you just happen to be walking that direction. Wait. So if I peek out from the room, will he catch me? Oh, this guy's blind. Oh, he goes in the rooms. Shoot. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Did I do it? Cause I didn't get caught. Oh my gosh, a dead body! There's a dead body in my house! There's a dead body in my house. Help me! Help, help, help! Oh, hi, girl. Oh, you're not looking too good. Oh. Thanks, girl. Good night. Uh, that's crazy. Oh, I fell on this sleeping on the couch. So was that not real? Cause I'm probably fine, right? A dream. Okay. Thank goodness. That was scary. I slept so long, but I still feel so tired. It's cause you probably slept too long. Oh right. I have to go to the police. It's already evening. I was planning on staying awake until morning. I have to go consult about the stalker. I have to go before it gets too dark. I'm so tired. Can't you just go tomorrow? At this point, my goodness. Ah. Okay. This game isn't so bad. Look, it's open now. What if I go this way? Okay, there's nothing there. The police box is so close. Tomare, no. Hello? Oh. Hello. He's so tall. Like we're like looking up at him. Hey there. Is something the matter? I want to ask about something. Is that so? Then let's go somewhere we can talk, shall we? So, not the police box. No, no. You'd feel more nervous talking in the station, right? Can you leave me alone? Can we just talk in the station where we're supposed to talk? We get people like that often. Okay. Let's go to a nearby park. This MC. I understand. You may have been hacked. On top of that, you're also being stalked. Hacker and the stalker. They're probably the same person. Well, obviously. But sadly, without any evidence, there isn't much we can do. What do you mean, no evidence? Her face is all over the internet. Girl is getting stalked. There's people who will testify. If you ever experience being stalked again, please get in touch with me directly. It would take too long if you called the police. You're creepy too. I'm always near this police station. I should be able to be there straight away. I'll give you my phone number. I don't trust this guy either. Please give me a call anytime. I'll be extra careful when I patrol around here. So please do not fear. Good luck with your work. I'm rooting for you. This guy's kind of creepy too. Man. Is this really okay? I'm worried. Yeah, girl, you and me both. I'm scared. Okay. I'm still scared. Call Asuka? Ooh. Interesting. Yes or no? Hmm. Why not? Am I sure I want to contact them? Yeah, sure. Why not? What's wrong? What happened? Sorry, I had you blocked. I just don't know who to trust these days. I know I'm being selfish, but can you come? She can type telepathically. I'm really scared. I want you by my side. It's almost time for me to start streaming though. Oh, oops. Oh, it wasn't being marked as red because I was blocked. Don't worry about it at all. I got off work early today and I'm close by. I'll be right there. Thanks, girl. I hope. Wow, I hope she doesn't come up to me with a knife. Haha. Um, 20 minutes later. 20 minutes? Oh. This MC has teleporting shoes and telepathic typing too? I know. The heck? Hi, girl. Hello. Well, I'm glad I could come right away. 20 minutes is kind of a long time. Are you okay? Were you stalked again? Yeah. No, that's not it. I just feel very uneasy. I see. Did you talk to the police? I did. I hope they really do something. Hope so too. I'm really sorry I blocked you. You don't need to worry about that. I understand things are rough. I'm glad you're still relying on me like this. I was shown a photo of you with that man. A photo with that man? Oh, are you talking about the time a strange guy spoke to me nearby? I knew something was up. So he was the stalker you keep mentioning. Yikes. He came up to me out of nowhere and was like, um, he's the one who approached me. But he didn't say anything. When I tried to leave, he would stop me. And he wouldn't say a single word. I thought maybe he was lost or something, so I waited. But nothing. And he just walked away. So someone had been taking pictures. I'm sorry I suspected you. It's alright. Don't worry about it. Anyone would be skeptical if they were shown something like that. So, what should I do? You just want me to be here? Yes, please. Alrighty. I really want you to take a break, but that's not possible, is it? It might be time to consider moving. Yeah, I agree. Oh, okay. Use PC, yes. We gotta stream. Okay. We're going to continue yesterday's game today. Hey, I wonder what kind of game it will be today. Sorry to bother. It's not a bad time, is it? Girl! Can't you see I'm busy? I checked the fridge, but there was nothing to eat. I'll grab something from the convenience store real quick. Uh-oh, something's gonna happen. No, I want you to stay. It'll be alright. It's very close. Yeah, well, then sprint. But still, I'll be back in a jiffy. I'll be right back. I'm looking forward to it. This looks real. This is the streamer that got their face exposed. I know this place. You'll get fat if you only eat convenient food. Isn't this like literally my house? I wonder if I can get run over by a car in this one. This is literally my house. That's literally the kombini. Am I gonna am I gonna run into freaking Asuka? Ain't no way. No way, right? Wait. Oh, it took you long enough. Don't tell me. This place is... This is crazy. This is like Inception. Nina, are you okay? I wonder where you're headed. I'm headed to my own apartment building. To my own apartment. Well, that's crazy. Let's go here. I feel a bit sick today, so I'll be ending the stream early. I'm sorry, everyone. Nina, the MP4. Oh. Um. Bruh. Could you, like, not? This is terrifying. I have to... I have to contact someone. Ah. Ah. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them. Can I call my parents? Mom, I'm scared. What the heck? Excuse me. Oh my gosh. No, bro, I don't trust any of them. um Bless you again. Thank you, thank you. Um I guess we'll do the police. I guess. At the very least, they can scare Stalker away, right? Hello. Oh, you're from earlier. I'm in some trouble. I need help. The stalker you mentioned before? Got it. Please wait right there. What should I do? I have to hide until help comes. Sure. Bruh, can you leave me alone? Did you enjoy the game? I really want to see you. We can meet today. Well then, see ya. I'm heading over now, so be ready. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you 1 minute. What the heck? This guy's like a clingy. What should I do? I have to hide it before he comes. Hide what? Myself. Yeah. I don't have the screwdriver in here this time. I had to protect myself. What should I do? That's right, a weapon. There has to be something I can defend myself with. Where's the screwdriver, bruv? Is it gonna give me time to find a weapon or, like... Well, I don't know where the screwdriver is. 30 seconds. What if I just don't? 20. Yeah, what if I just don't? I don't know where the screwdriver is. I don't really wanna look for it. 10. Yeah. Oh, my battery died. How convenient is that? Bruh. Do I need the weapon? Wait, let's see. Do I need one? Do I need the weapon? Surely not, right? Bruh. I have to hide. Nothing's happening. Yeah, no thanks. I don't like the music. It's scary. This music is too scary. What am I supposed to do? I didn't get the screwdriver. I'm just gonna wait. Cause I don't know what I'm doing. Water break. Hydrate. Oh, I heard someone. I don't like the music. Oh shoot. That's crazy. Did you think you could escape in such a small space? This isn't a game, you know. Oh, it kinda is. Did I lose? Oh. I was supposed to get caught. Who is that? Or you? Oh, I don't like that high-pitched noise. I'm glad Yukiya came. Afterward, the police officer who consulted with me informed me the stalker had been caught. That man was a fan of Sandra and Nina. As he watched my streams daily, I'm told he began to fall under the illusion that I was his girlfriend. Oh yeah. The act of misconstructing your relationship with an online media personality and being under the illusion that you're in an in an intimate relationship is called parasocial. It seems that there are many incidents like mine. They told me to stay cautious in the future. After the incident, I felt immensely indebted to Rikia for helping me. I decided to go out with him again. Uh-oh, girl. There's a reason why you broke up with him. Aw, all the coffee is back to normal. What's wrong? Hey, you're spacing out. Well, I guess it can't be helped. After all that trouble. But now you have me by your side, right? Yeah. Together, strong forever. Well then, I'm gonna go pick some flowers. Okay, goody two shoes. I'm just kidding. Oh, I thought he actually meant picking flowers, but oh hi, Nina. I'm sorry if what I did or said made you feel bad, Asuka. But if you could at least see this, is it okay? Yeah. Nani? Nani kore? Bruh. See, I told you, girl, not to. I told you shouldn't have gone back with him. If I had believed in Asuka. Did I get the bad ending? It seems that I made the wrong choice. That's crazy. Let's do it again. Let's call Asuka. Wait, is this the very beginning? Is this a... Which part of the game is this? Wait, what part of the game is this? This is not the very beginning. The very beginning is we wake up. Is this really okay? I'm worried. Oh, okay. I'll just speed run this part. I just want to see the good end. I want to see the other ending. Okay. Call Asuka. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there a way to speed this part up? No? Ah. Okay, well, how you guys been? Oops. We can just yap while this goes. I want to do a hand cam soon sometime because I bought today I bought a box of like cards. They're like, oh shoot, I don't even know what the card game is, but they did an Uma Musume collab, so I have Uma Musume cards now. I don't remember what the card game is, but I have those now. So I want to open those on stream. I was gonna get a box of Hololive cards as well. I did not end up buying them because it was expensive. And I reached my my card limit for today. So my card declined when I tried to buy them, so I could only buy one box. But I do want to open those on stream. We can go handcam stream soon. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Maybe, hopefully I get good luck. Maybe Amabunnies will give me good luck. Blah 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 blah. Oh. Okay, so the text was not supposed to overlap. I was just slow at reading. This girl, Nina, is kind of slow. Like, I feel like... as soon as she loaded in, she should have noticed. But, I mean... Also... Girl's a really big streamer. The heck? Look at how many viewers she has. That's crazy, actually. Oh yeah, we're at 70 followers on Twitch right now. We're getting really, really, really close to 75, which was our goal for endurance stream. Big streamer but doesn't talk to chat. No, I know. What the heck? Only 5 away. Yeah, we're getting super, super close. Actually, kind of crazy. I think. What did I set as the goal for Twitter? Twitter, I'm at 58. What did I set as the goal? Let's call Asuka. Asuka! Hayaku, Hayaku, Asuka. Asuka's ringtone? I think it's coming from the balcony. What? From the balcony? Why? Go next door, yes. Asuka? Enter, yeah. Nah, I feel like the stalker. Asuka? Whoa. It's the video I saw. Asuka, daijoubu? What the heck? Oh my gosh. What the flip? Asuka? What is this? Pictures of... Who is this? This is me. This is me. What the hell? Oh my gosh. She's actually stalker. She's actually crazy. Oh. Never mind. Asuka, daijoubu? 88. We're at 30 away on Twitter. Nina! What is this place? It's the room next door. The balcony was open. Is she okay? But I'm glad you're okay, Nina. Anyway, don't worry about me. She's so... Get to the police now. It's too dangerous to stay here. Quickly before he sees you. Hurry up. Ah! Oh my gosh. That scared me. What the heck? Bruh. Why are they screaming like that? Okay. Anyway. Asuka, daijoubu? Jeez, I didn't expect him to come right. I thought he was here. So I was like... Frick. 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 Frick, frick, frick. I think it's cooked. Hi. Hello, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, you're okay. Jeez. Okay. Oh, my phone's dead. How nice. Anyways. I wonder if he could go through the balcony back to Nina's apartment. Also, the stalker lives, like, next door? How convenient is that? Bruh. Bruh. Ah, my gosh. This is like the other one all over again. Oh my gosh. I wonder how fast he walks. Bruh. Bruh. Can you, like, not? Can I just leave? Am I supposed to go this way? Maybe I'm supposed to go this way. I can't exactly leave. Okay, maybe I'm supposed to go this way? I don't know, bro. Actually, no. We're not gonna close the door because that's gonna make it worse for me. Can you, like, let me leave, please? Let me in, let me in. Jeez. Maybe I went too fast last time. Maybe I just gotta wait. Maybe I just gotta wait and be patient. I need to hurry up and get out of here. Let me finish the game so I can play Project Diva. Are you kidding me? He comes out of nowhere. Bruh. Can you not? I'm trying to be a good friend here. Get the police so my kidnapped friend is like, can get some help. Bruh. Can I climb out the window? I actually don't know which way I'm supposed to go. Am I supposed to go out the front door? I'm gonna check. After freeing Asuka, Nina immediately runs from the bathroom and goes through the balcony door or the window while avoiding. Okay. Okay, so I do go back to the balcony. Bruh, okay. Sure, catch me so I can restart this, bruh. Hi. How funny would it be if I... Okay. Okay, so he catches me if I open the front door, I think. Um... How am I supposed to go through the balcony? Wait. How to finish good ending. Parasocial. I'm cheating. Cause I can't do this. Hmm. Wait, where am I supposed to where am I supposed to go? If Nina decides to call Asuka, she will call her and be led to the next door room where the stalker has captured her. After freeing Asuka, Nina immediately runs from the bathroom and goes through the balcony door or the window while avoiding Rikiya Miyamoto. If she stays in the room for too long, Rikiya will catch her. So I had to go to the balcony, but I can't leave. Once she exits, she opens the balcony door and the curtains, goes back inside her own apartment, and sneaks past the stalker, avoiding him. So the stalker is in my apartment still. Bruh. Okay. So I had to avoid both of them. Oh my gosh, how annoying. Leave me alone already. Nina leaves through her front door and escapes through the elevator. Ah. Okay, wait. I can't even escape from here. What do they mean? This window? Like, what? Where am I supposed to leave from? I'm so confused. Oh, it's dark. Oh! Oh, it's the same. I thought something different was happening. Can I go through this window? How am I supposed to escape, bruh? Ringo just wants to be done so she can play Project Diva again. Yeah. Can we go back to Project Diva? Do I have to bring her or something? I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh. It is this window. Nice. But the stalker is here. Please, 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 please. Okay, I can run. We're running. We're running. The adrenaline is high. Oh my gosh! What the helly? Okay. We're running, we're running, we're running. Thank goodness there's only one elevator. Okay. Who are you? Why are you in such a hurry? It's not good for a girl to walk alone at night. Ignore me. I'm ignoring you, bro. Let me out, let me out, let me out. Excuse me, something happened? It's dangerous. No. Hey, stop right there. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I don't like this music. Geez, she runs
今月16
fast.
日 SNS などで
In a
活躍す
press
る女
conference
性
held
配
by the
信者の自
police
宅に見知らぬ男が入り込んだ事件で今日主犯格の男
today,
など
4
男女4
suspects
人
have
が
been
逮捕
arrested
され
under
たこと
the
が
suspicion
警
of
察への取
illegally
材で
entering
明
the
らか
home
に
of
な
an
りました。
online live streamer. Yeah,
逮
me.
捕されたのは主犯格で指示役
Businessman
の会
Rikia
社員
Miyamoto, the
宮
alleged
本力也
mastermind of the
容疑者
operation. Wow, this guy.
母親で不
His
動
mother,
産業を営
Yukiko
む
Miyamoto, a real
宮
estate
本力
business
也容
owner.
疑
Oh,
者
that's his mom!
母親の弟
Her
で
younger
パート
brother
の
and a
白
part-time
田sag夫
employee,
容疑者
Sagio Shirota,
実行役
and
の
an
無
unemployed
職
Kyoa
悪臭
Ashuku
京和容疑者の4
Akushu,
名とみられてい
who
ま
is
す。
accused of breaking and
警
entering.
察の調べでは
According to the
主犯格の宮本力也容
investigation,
疑者
Rikia
は
Miyamoto
事件の2
allegedly
日前頃か
approached
ら
his former
元交
partner
際
5
相手
days
であ
before
る
the
被害者
incident
に
and
復
pressured
縁
her
を
to get
迫っ
back
ていたと
together.
いい力也容疑者
Rikia
は
is
被害者に
suspected
対
of
して
stalking
付
the
きまと
victim
い
by
や盗
following,
撮
spying on,
ス
and
トーカー行為
instructing
のほか
collaborators
悪
to
臭
enter
容
the
疑者に
victim's
対し
house.
被害者宅への侵入を指示した疑い
Wow,
が
sneaky little
他3名
freaker.
には
The
力
other
也
three
容疑者の
suspects
犯
are
行
each
に手を
accused
貸した
of
疑い
assisting
が
said
それぞれか
crimes.
けられており加えて白田容
Additionally,
疑者には
Shirota has
自
been
身を警
suspected
察
of
官と
posing
偽
as a
って
police
被
officer.
害者と接触していた
Suspected? No,
疑い
he
もかけられてい
did.
ます。これ
The
に
four
対し
suspects are said
4
to have
人はおお
admitted
む
to the
ね容疑を
charges.
認めている模様です。続いてのニュースです。
Wow. Oh. Are you okay? What do I do now? That's not the end? Oh, we're making real food! Congratulations. Oh, it's already warm. Here. 食べてね. Thanks! Looks delicious. Oh, sorry. Just that the last time I made you this dish feels like a distant past. It's just a few days ago. Those guys, looks like they got caught. Thank goodness. I'm so glad. But who would have thought that they were all in on it? Nina, the things you had to go through. If only I had noticed how serious it was. Girl, I literally told you, but okay. Something like this wouldn't have happened. That's not true. Asuka, you're the reason I'm here now. That's true. That's true. If we didn't call Asuka, then the bad ending would be... We would get the bad ending. Thanks for putting it that way. Ugh. You should move out already. Yeah. Be careful not to repeat the same thing. Which reminds me... What was it? I heard the developer released a new game. Didn't you mention that the game was too difficult for you? What was it called again? The convenience store, I think? Oh. Advertising. I hear it's not as tricky as Akamanto. It's a Japanese-style horror game, and I hear it's easier on casual players like you, Nina. Oh, is it actually? Do check it out. Maybe I'll play it. Yay! Oh my gosh, credits. Supporter appearances. Oh my gosh. Ollie! There's so many people. Oh my gosh. Selene. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So many of them. Highlight supporter. Wow. Hex Haywire's owl. And supporter. Wow. Chilla's art games are so fun. They're actually really fun. Wow. So many people. Lots of them. Wow. It's still going. That was fun. It wasn't. It wasn't as. It's not as bad as Bendy. Because the jump scares weren't terrible. Like they weren't like super sudden. I think. They told you, yeah, yeah. You were being honest this time. Wow. 2 hours and 15 minutes ish. Wow. I'm going to switch screens and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's get music. Wow. That was kind of cool. Especially the part where Nina was streaming and then we were playing the game that she was streaming. That part was pretty cool, I think. Okay. What other achievements are there? Order food on the phone. Long time no see. Talk to everyone at the cafe. Did I not? I thought I did. You barely got scared this stream. Yeah, I think the only time I like yelled was when the guy like was right there at the door. Because I was not expecting that. I was not paying attention to the literal sounds of him like freaking putting his key in the door. Wow. That was the chillest horror stream from me, I think. Let's see. Let's check out that one, the convenience store. Similar to games you've played, and it says peak. Um, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one now. Peak and the convenience store? Oh my gosh, Silent Hill F is on sale for 40% off. If I stream that, I would struggle though. I'm not good at fighting. Just like Peak. Yeah. They're so similar. They're basically the same game. Wow. Oh my gosh, winter sale, that's why. Steam winter sale. Oh my gosh, maybe it's time to buy some games. January 5th. Okay. Some games that are not horror games. Yeah. What do I have on my wish list? Let's see. Dang, some of these are on huge discounts. I'll look later. I'll look later. I'm gonna get distracted. Yeah, that game was a lot of fun. I actually really like that. Probably. What horror games have I played so far? What have I played so far? Let's see. Let's see. Higurashi, but that doesn't really count because I haven't finished it. Asmo doesn't really count either. Is it literally just Bendy and Parasocial? I swear I've played more horror games. What the heck? Oh well. Still one of my... Still one of the horror games I like best out of the ones I have played. Exit 8? I guess so. I think I got more scared during Exit 8 actually. I think I did. Which is kind of crazy. Because they're just so... The jump scares. It's the jump scares that get me. Exit 8, they're very sudden. Chilla's art, it kind of takes time for the camera to like shift over. So I think that helped a lot. Yeah. I do want to play more visual novels as well. Speaking of, tomorrow we're playing an otome game. I'm gonna crop this. So we can do this. Make it bigger. Yeah, so today was Parasocial. Tomorrow, around the same time, just an hour later, I'll be playing the demo for Will Miss Emporium. I'm super excited for that one. Oh my gosh. I have been waiting since they announced this game. I think I love 2.5 Studios. Their games are so good. I do have another one of their games called it's one of their older ones. It's Amelie that I still need to play. I haven't played it yet. Oh my gosh, Doomed. Is this? Oh my gosh, Yuri. Is it doomed? Are they doomed? I wonder if they're doomed. Anyone know if? It's a psychological mystery. Yay! And it's Yuri! I don't know if they're doomed. Yeah, I still have to play that one. 2.5 has a lot of good otome games. I think I did play A Day with Death. I really enjoyed that one actually. Super cute. I when they announced the DLC, I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it, but I haven't finished playing it yet. So yeah. They also announced Day with Death 2, which I'm super excited about. Yeah, 2.5 has some good stuff. So I'm excited to play Willow Mist tomorrow. Oh my gosh. My first otome game on stream. Whoa. Crazy. I'm so ready. How many? I don't even know how many characters there are. I only really care about one of them. There's five five love interests. We might get more screaming there than we did today. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not... I'm more of a giggler, I think. Yeah. I'm super, super excited. My friend said the demo was really good. So... yeah, that's tomorrow at 10... yes, 10 p.m. EST. As for next week, I'm not too sure what we're gonna be doing next week since it is the holiday season. If I'm lucky, I might be able to sneak in a stream for Friday. But I'm literally busy every other day, so... yeah, most likely no streams. Maybe if I get a chance, we can do a little something on Friday. If anything, it'll just be a chill little stream. Probably Zatsu, or like maybe we can do that hand cam and open the Uma Musume cards. Yeah, actually, I want to see what's on there. Actually, no, I'll do that later. I'll do that when I open them. I hope Urara's in there. I hope. A little something Project Diva. Maybe, yeah, maybe we can do Project Diva. Maybe. But yeah. Let's see. I don't really have anything else to say tonight. Yeah, no, not really. Should I play Project Diva? I'm kinda sleepy. Maybe not tonight. I won't stream Project Diva tonight. I might play like a game or two on my own, but I'm a little bit sleepy. So yeah, I probably won't do Project Diva tonight. Oh, we should go over these since it's getting close. The goals. These goals right here. Oh my gosh, you can't see it. These. We're getting really, really close to one of them actually. Oh yeah, on Twitch right now we're at 70. That's 70 followers on Twitch. So we're 5 away from the goal. On Twitter, what did I say before? We're at 58. So we're 30 away. And yeah. So we're actually getting pretty close. Surprisingly. Let's see. For coffee, we're at 19%, which is actually crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I put that up there with no expectations. Cause I feel bad. I feel bad putting that there, cause I don't like asking for money, you know? I just feel so bad. I was thinking maybe I do want to do merch. I do really want to do merch. Just cause I want merch too. Oh, one day. One day there will be merch. Hopefully. Ringo merch. Yeah, Ringo merch. I did draw that little chibi with the intention of making it into merch, but I don't I don't think I'm going to use it. I might make just like some stickers or something. Maybe I'll put some stickers up on my coffee, and if you don't want them, you can buy them. Thinking that. Oh yeah, oh my gosh, I totally forgot since oh my gosh. Parasocial was recommended by Aki today. Yes. It was. Let's see. Please give brief description. A psychological horror game that may or may not have jump scares. It was a good request. Yeah, it was. I agree, actually. I did enjoy it. Not scary at all. It was a little bit scary. A little bit. It was more just creepy. And annoying. Because that guy was not letting me... He was not letting me do anything. Mortuary assistant, though. I don't know about that one. Aki. That means the next one is a good one, too. I think I will play more Charizard games. Mortuary assistant. Crazy. It's 40% off. Is it? It's actually? More to... I can't spell. Where's the... Mortuary... How do you spell it? More to... Okay, mortuary assistant. But it's so creepy. I've seen like clips of gameplay. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I get more scared than the people playing it. I don't know. It is on sale. 40% off. But there's no point in buying it if I'm not gonna play it, you know? $14 is their price moves, yeah. You know what I want to play? I want to play Date Everything. It's 35% off right now. It's still $25 though, what the heck? I do want to play it though. There's so many of them. So many characters. Even though I've seen like people playing them, there's still some I haven't seen. Well, I've seen one playthrough mostly, one person, but I still haven't seen a lot of them. 40 is better than 35. That's true, but I'm not going to. Oh my gosh! Wait, this one's on sale for 70% off. Keep talking and nobody explodes. This one will be fun to play too. $5. My gosh, Bug Fables is also on sale. Oh look, you know what else is on sale right now? The Christmas horror game I added to my wish list. It's a survival horror FPS. Remove. Bye. Untitled Goose Game is on sale for 55. Wow, there are actually so many. So many on sale. Wow. Slay the Princess is also on sale. Ooh, I want to play Angels of Death as well. I love big sales. Project Zomboid is on sale. 33. Wow. Man, there's this game called there's this visual novel called Magical Girl Witch Trials that I also want to play. But it's not in English. It's only in Japanese and simplified Chinese. So I'm really sad. I really want to play it though. It looks so cool. It looks dark. Oh, there's character death. Perfect! Magical girls dying. I love magical girls. Both the sparkly kind and the dark kind that suffers and dies. I don't know. There's just something about like dark magical girl animes that always gets me. Like it's so... I love them. They're so good. I need to find more. There's this one magical girl raising project that apparently I only watch the animes because I'm too lazy to read the mangas most of the time. But apparently there's more after the first what they cover in the first season of the anime, and it's really... the anime was really good, and the ending, honestly I had no clue that there was more after it, because the ending was pretty, you know, it was like, yeah, this is the ending. But it's so good. I might read it just cause I love dark magical girl animes. Okay. my gosh. I got jump scared by merch earlier this week. I was like about to leave actually for work, and then like I don't know, like 10, 15 ish minutes before, the delivery guy pulls up with a box with a package. I'm like, is that for me? It was indeed for me. And I knew the merch was coming, but I forgot that it was on the way. I did know that I bought it. I did remember that I bought it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can't wait for these standees to show up. And then they just jump scared me out of nowhere. I'm like, okay. I didn't get any like notifications from the shipping tracking or anything, so I was like, oh, well, I guess I have these now. So I have 2 new standees for my collection, and I'm super happy. They're super cute. They're the Flayon standees that Shokuen made. Christmas surprises, yeah. And there's actually a lot of merch coming around this time because I also pre-ordered Flayon's birthday merch, and it also arrived. I group ordered with some friends because we all like buying the merch. It was originally just the Tempest Gala stuff, and then I I wanted the Flayon merch as well, so that's all in one stuff. All in one package. So yeah, that also just arrived, which is actually crazy because I swear they just started shipping out. Like they started shipping out like at the beginning of this month. So I didn't expect them at all. Like it was actually a jump scare. My friend was like, by the way, the merch showed up already, and we were all shook because usually the shipping takes a little while, and we didn't pay for like express shipping or anything like that, just like regular shipping. So yeah, so now I have my Flayon merch, which I'm meeting up with them next week for my for Christmas stuff, and I'll get my merch then. Yay! I love merch. Ringo merch when? Ringo merch when? I'm waiting for. See, I would do merch as soon as I can. So like right now, but I can't have merch and make it just for like a couple people, you know? I feel like it's more worth it when there's more people who want it, you know? Because the cost of making them goes down. It goes down when you order more. Yeah, I forgot about the heart rate monitor. I'll get it eventually. I don't think it would have been very interesting this stream. Um, you have it. You'll have it in time for when you play Mortuary Assistant. I didn't. I never said I was playing it. I never said I was playing it. Hello. Why are you just assuming that I'm gonna play it? What the heck? Um. You'll play it one day. In like 5 years. Not anytime soon. Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end now for tonight. Because I'm running out of stuff to talk about. um. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at what time was it? 10 p.m. 10 p.m. 10 p.m. EST. 10 p.m. EST for the Willow Mist demo. I'm super excited to play that. You guys can this will be the first time you'll see me playing an Ultimate game, so hopefully I don't embarrass myself too much. But yeah, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for swinging by for another horror stream. Yeah, otsu ringo. Yeah, thank you everyone. Good night. Have a good rest of your night or day or afternoon. Make sure to get some rest, please. And yeah, bye-bye. Bye, bye-bye. Man, I really need to make an ending screen. I have a cute starting screen, but then my ending screen is still a freaking Apple PNG. Good night, bye bye.